Hello, I'm Grace Chadding, and I'd like to talk to you today about relationship coaching. And I'm speaking about that in the context of coaching generally. And I'm sure you'll all have heard that it's a good idea to have a niche. Now, my niche just happens to be relationship coaching. And I'm saying relationship coaching as opposed to counseling because many years ago I did used to do relationship counseling. And then I became a family mediator and I would work with couples who were already separated or divorced and who were in dispute. And whilst we were uh, I keep wanting to say mediating on the division of their property and assets and contact arrangements for the children. I did notice that some couples did seem to be still very attached to each other. And, that was very tragic to see these families who had broken up, but where the couple were still attached to each other and, perhaps they'd taken up with another partner or too much water had gone under the bridge for them to be able to reconcile again. But I did think that was very sad. And it did get me thinking about the limitations of counselling for couples because I would have seen a lot of couples who had gone to agencies for couple counselling, and it just never seemed to be very successful. And then I read a report, it was about 2005. The, there had been a study and a report, the Heart Report, that was carried out about 1999, but there were various reports that sprung out of that. And the findings seemed to be that um, relationship counselling appeared to have limitations, and the results, pound for pound, it just didn't seem to be very fruitful, not in the long term. So I got thinking about this, and as I moved on in my own therapeutic career and mediation, and I went into coaching, and I found that a lot of couples who came to me responded much better to a coaching approach. And so when I've stopped to look up why was that, I think there are a number of different reasons. But one reason I would say is that coaching seems to have a much more positive um, outlook. It has a positive impression. People view it more positively than perhaps counselling. Many people seem to have a view that counselling is stigmatized. It means that there's something wrong with you, but coaching is an okay thing. So there, one of that's part of the case for coaching, that men in particular um, are less put off by the notion of coaching rather than counselling. But it's not just that; it's also that over time, certainly in the last 20, 30 years, uh, marriages, the marriage rate has gone down, the divorce rate went up. It's kind of plateaued out now, but I think part of that is because um, there's not so many people actually getting married. But, studies that are being carried out at the moment show that nearly half of all families are splitting up, and something like 60% of children in the next few years will probably grow up in a single parent household or a reconstituted household. And in fact, the fastest growing type of family is a step parented family. So there's a lot of things happening. But look, the fact is this: pretty well most people are involved in relationships of one kind or another. But I see many single people who would love to meet and have a life partnership with somebody. I see many couples whose marriages and they're not necessarily married. A lot of couples whose relationship is disturbed or in turmoil in some way. And then I see a number of people who have just been through perhaps messy divorces, and it's really, really painful, and it's difficult for them to move on. And so there are people in all kinds of stages of relationships. So there are, in terms of it being a niche for coaching, um, the demand is certainly there. The clients are there, the customers are there. But I see it also as a really useful contribution to society and to our communities, because families have historically, and I think still, um, give communities some cohesion. If families keep breaking up and reconstituting and moving about, our communities are much more fragmented. And we do know that the children of parents who stay together fare much better. All kinds of research show that children of enduring and stable relationships do better, in education, in terms of succeeding academically and career wise, and also lower figures for them in terms of crime and addiction and all those